Today we have about there's about five different real estate headline articles that we are going to share from valid sources such as Realtor.com and Zillow.com and a couple other places. And we are going to share.
Are they really valid?
Well, that's what we're gonna see. So that's the whole point of this. We're going to share these 5 different headlines. Mm-hmm. These are all put out at the same time, talking about what is going to happen in this upcoming real estate market. And then we're gonna see what conclusion this brings us to. Are you ready to hear these?
I'm ready, but I'm also really excited about the upcoming events in real estate. But not only real estate, economically and globally. We are in an election year for the year 2024. So that tells me there's a lot of change that's going to happen, whether it's for the good or for the bad. And what I have to say is, hold on, educate yourself, because whenever you see a news headline that maybe you disagree with or agree with, look further into it. Not necessarily look at who's writing the article, but exactly what they're saying in the article. If you are another fellow broker, do your own research. But you guys as our audience, we are speaking as a local perspective, usually here on Real Estate with Mariah and Spenc. But everybody has their own opinion. I talk to for sale by owners. I talk to expired listings. I talk to people that want to list their homes. And if you guys, our audience out there, are indifferent than these articles, like I probably will be, then leave a comment, but also contact us, because I talk to people just like you daily about what's happening right now in today's real estate market. And that's what's really exciting about my job, being an educator and letting you know the facts versus maybe a big headline you saw. If you see one that you're just like, and it just gets you going, call me, ask me, Spence, is this accurate? What do you see happening?
Right, because there's a lot of headlines and there's a lot of things being said about what's going on in the real estate market, what's going to happen. There's a lot of conflicting opinions, and these are all national headlines, by the way. So,
awesome.
About the national real estate market. Okay, the first one is Zillow predicts that home values will increase by 3.5% in 2023, by 3.4% in 2024, by 3.3% in 2025, and by 3.2% in 2026. The report also notes that the number of homes for sale will continue to be low, putting upward pressure on prices. Now, let's just keep in mind, the homes appreciated this last year that just happened, not this one, but the one before that, 20% in 1 year. So we're jumping from 20% home appreciation, which is nuts, to increasing by, say 3.5%, but still increasing. So that was this first one.
That's a really good figure though. And I think what I love about that article that I am agreeing with is the realistic part, a 3.2% realistically increase in equity year over year. That's still a great increase. But if you look at in the past, that's mild, that's low. But ultimately, that's why we always encourage you to get into home ownership, ultimately, because there is an appreciation in an asset over time. So say 3% of $100,000. What is that? That's $3,000.
Yeah. I don't know. I just said,
yeah. Okay. So $3,000 for $100,000. Now let's say the average sales price, which is $436,000 in our area. Let's go 4 times 3. 4, 8, 12. So that's $12,000 per year you as an individual owner could be making on your investment. Usually that's going to be your down payment a lot of the time. So just living in a property rather than renting is going to make you money over time. But ultimately you can look at it as a nice place to live. You're paying down equity as you live in it. And when you do decide to resell, maybe that market appreciation is just your broker fee and a commission you're going to be paying to somebody. So there's always an angle to be looking at. And when you're dealing with market appreciation, there's always an upside. And it doesn't matter if it's 3% or 20%. That is the priority and the reason why we always encourage home ownership.
Right. Okay. So let's hear a couple other perspectives here. In 2023, the national annual median price for homes for sale is projected to rise by another 5.4%, which is less than half of the pace seen in 2022, like I was just saying. even if a homeowner decides to sell their home, they will likely have a lot of equity in it. Okay, so those are two different predictions. Now let's read this next one. The majority of experts are now predicting an outright decline in U.S. home prices in 2023. Terry Lobes said in a statement. However, the panel also projected that home prices could bump back up at a national average rate of 3.5% per year from 2024 to 2027. So this article is predicting a decline in 2023, but then going to start rising again in shortly after that at 3.5% or so a year.
Which still is a good thing.
Which is not too bad, okay, if you ask me. The next prediction, okay? This one says, home prices won't drop, defying expectations. But home prices next year aren't expected to crash. Nationally, Realtor.com predicts they'll see a rise of 5.4% year over year in 2023. That's still going to hurt, but not as much as double-digit increases did during the COVID pandemic. Okay, and then last article separately, this one says, although the economy heads into 2023 with the same positive momentum, we forecast additional slowing in 2023, probably near zero growth. Nonetheless, a recession is not a conclusion. We anticipate the likelihood of a recession in 2023 at 40% to 50%. So
how long have we been in a recession for?
Conclusion does this bring us to? How long have we been
how long have we been in a recession for?
How are we in a recession?
Exactly.
What defines a recession?
Exactly.
There's a lot of different factors that come into play, and there's a lot of different headlines. And have
we gone through one? Have we?
I don't know. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? So here's my conclusion for all of this is we're hearing a lot of different opinions. We're hearing one, headline, you'll see one YouTube video saying prices are going to drop. And then you see all of those articles, they're all different sources saying that, from what I see as a common denominator from all of those different headlines, it seems to be a very consistent pattern that everyone believes that home prices they're not going to be going up nearly as quickly as they have been, thank goodness, but they are still going to rise a little bit or just be stagnant, like not really any, just like sideways, which I've heard a lot as well. And a big thing is, with low inventory, it's really, really hard unless all of these homes just become on the market all of a sudden. It's really hard for prices to just drop super drastically with low inventory because of supply and demand. And a lot of sellers just don't want to sell right now because of their beautiful 3% interest rate that's very hard to get rid of and, when finding that replacement property. So what the conclusion it leads me to is you just can't time the market. We don't know realistically what's going to happen, what direction it's going to take. But what we do know is there is so much value in owning real estate. And if you buy and hold, you're going to win. If you're paying to live somewhere anyway, you might as well start paying yourself instead of a landlord. So that is the conclusion that it leads me to. What do you think of all of this?
It's a great conclusion. And
collusion.
What I love about these articles, though, is somewhat, in a lot of ways, they're consistent. All across the board. I see consistency, whether you're dealing with an increase of 3% to 5% to 8%. I like the 3 to 5% conclusions. Those are great market predictions.
I could live with that.
And I can live with that. Absolutely. And now think about this. The average person lives in their home for what? 5 years? Is that
average?
8 years? Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's 5 to 8 years.
I should probably know this as a realtor. I don't know.
No, I do. It's 5 to 8 years.
Okay. It's 5 to 8 years.
See how broad I just made that? So it's 5 to 8 years. So think about this, though. You have 5 years at minimum at 3% equity growth. Well, we just did the math on the average home here in our area, $435,000. I did even lower, $400,000 times 3. Yeah. 4 times 3 is $12,000 over every year. Well, 12 times 5, that's $60,000. Just to live. And that's not even talking about your monthly payment or the amount down you put on the home. So when you do decide to sell, you're going to have a lot more in pocket. Now, what I think could hurt us, realistically, and I see this happening right now, is everybody's all about inventory. Everybody says, man, inventory's going up. inventory. We're in a spring market. Hold off. You're going to get a better home because of inventory. You'll have more options. What I have to say about that, though, that could hurt us as a seller is when inventory goes up and interest rates rise at the same time. Well, now we have more homes on the market. Now we have less buyers to buy these homes. Guess what? Buyers control the money. So if you're the buyer and you're not buying, what's happening to all these homes on the market? Average days goes up. Homes decrease in value because sellers are getting scared. Or they have a contingency deal they need because they need an accepted offer on their home in order to get to their next place.
Yeah.
Point A to point B.
That's good.
So there's some factors that are good but also negative. The negative side is if interest rates go up and inventory goes up as it should as we approach these future months, well, now we're in for a possible stag market for a short period of time. And the reason I say short period of time is because remember, election year is next year, 2024. I do believe if a party wants to stay in office, they're going to remain and have the best economy they possibly can. So the votes can happen. But on the contrary is if there's less buyers out there because interest rates don't come down, well, inventory is going to go up, meaning more and more price decreases. And that has been the whole playing field right now is the only reason people are getting the value out of their homes is because of the amount of inventory. I mean, that's been the hardest part in real estate lately. Yeah. And it's not even been dealing with interest rates. It's been finding the right home for my client, my buyer, to purchase. And at a reasonable price. Right. We kind of have lost our minds. When it's come to a reasonable price.
It's true. I mean, oh my, yeah, it's insane. I remember though, when I was a new real estate agent back in 2015, all I was hearing in our meetings, our office meetings, I was just constantly hearing, we are at a record low for inventory. And that's been something we've continued to hear. We heard it in 2018, 19, 20, and now in 2023, we're still hearing that, but inventory is even lower than it was in 2015 when we first started hearing that, which is like so mind-blowing, but it also probably has a lot to do with the fact that home prices are so much higher than, we ever thought they would be this quickly. Looking back, if you would have told me what $500,000 would get you in 2015, I might not believe you. In such a short amount of time, I might have said maybe in 20 years, but just a few years later.
Rapid. We are living in historical times, people.
Yes. So all of this to say, I guess at the end of the day, like I said, the best time to buy is when it works for you, when the numbers make sense for you, when you are able to afford that monthly payment. And, let's talk. If you're thinking about buying or selling and you're somewhere in Oregon, we'd love to work with you. If you are thinking about buying or selling outside of Oregon, contact us. We have connections with fantastic realtors all over, and we'd love to set you up with one in your area. So,
that's all we got.
That's all we got.
Today was basically a market prediction day.
Yeah.
I did not have that planned in my schedule, but I love talking about the real estate market. And so if you are interested, I want to open this door for you about what's happening right now in today's real estate market. I do this every day with clients. They call me or I call them, vice versa. And we say, do you know what's happening in today's world?
Yeah.
Most of them say yes, but I tell you anyways. So thank you for viewing this show. And we come on here weekly. We could not be here without you. And if you have not yet, pick that subscribe button and like this and leave a comment. I know. Pick it, right?
Well, we'll see you next week.